right, kids, you're about to embark on a tour of the Lloyd Michael Water Treatment Plant at the Cucamonga Valley Water District. I'm Willie, one of the district's trusted water rangers. Now, I assume you all know what a water ranger is, right? No? Well, let me tell you, it's a very important job. We educate people about how important it is not to waste water and about how we make water safe to drink. You know, I have an idea. We're always looking for more water rangers around here. I wonder, would you guys like to become water rangers? I knew you would want to. But before you can be deputized, I'm going to take you through our water training program. Hey, if you're going to be a water ranger, you gotta earn your stripes. All right then, for your training, I'm going to show you how every day the district can take up to 60 million gallons of untreated water and turn it into water for drinking, cooking, bathing, and more. 60 million gallons! That's enough water to fill up 91 Olympic-sized swimming pools every day. Here at the Lloyd Michael Treatment Plant, we treat water imported from the Sacramento-San Joaquin Delta, which is located between Sacramento and Stockton, about 400 miles north of us. That's like a 7-hour drive from here. The Delta is made up of about 1,000 miles of winding waterways that are fed from two main rivers, the Sacramento River and the San Joaquin River. Oh, I know it looks clean, but you don't want to drink this. Look close enough and you'll find it's teeming with living organisms. And that's not all. The water also has particles of dirt in it. Ooh, can you imagine washing with dirty water? No thanks. All right, before we can begin treating the water, we have to bring it here from the Delta. The water travels down the California Aqueduct, which is kind of like a highway for water. It's transported first to Silverwood Lake near Wrightwood, and then onto here, the Lloyd Michael Water Treatment Plant in Rancho Cucamonga. Once it arrives here, it enters the plant through a series of intake valves. Does anybody have any idea how much water flows through these pipes every minute? Let's hear some numbers. Uh-huh. Well, guess what? About 36,000 gallons of untreated water flow through these pipes every minute. So, how much water is that really? In just 1 minute? That's enough water to fill over 1,000 bathtubs, or 576,000 glasses of water. But that's only the beginning. From here, the water is sent to our static mixer, where we mix in special chemicals. I know what you're thinking. You're probably wondering why we put chemicals in your water. But don't worry, these chemicals are removed long before the water ever gets to your home. These chemicals are called coagulants, and they're charged with static electricity, which attracts the dirt particles in the water. This process is called flocculation, because the dirt particles flock together to form larger clumps. These clumps of dirt are then sent to the sedimentation basins. When they get heavy enough, they sink to the bottom. At the bottom, large rakes scrape up the clumps of dirt along with the chemicals we added earlier. The clumps of dirt, called impurities, are collected and transferred to the facility's sludge ponds. We'll talk more about these later. From here, the water moves to the filtration basins, where it's sucked through a filter made of gravel, sand, and coal that traps even the tiniest particles, making the water even cleaner. So we just took all the dirt out of the water. It must be clean now, right? Not quite. We still have a little more work to do before it's clean enough for you and your family. Even though we removed the dirt, there's still something in the water. Can any of you guess what that is? I'll give you a hint. That's right, bacteria and microscopic organisms, and nobody wants to drink that. So, to get rid of any living organisms, we add just the right amount of chlorine. Finally, there's one last thing we need to do to make sure the water's clean enough to drink, cook, and bathe in, and that happens back at our testing lab. Before we can send the treated water to your homes, we need to test it to make sure it's just right. One test that you'll learn today during your Water Ranger training is how to test the right amount of chlorine. The way we do this is to add a chemical called DPD. DPD reacts with the chlorine and changes the color of the water, and that will tell us if it has the proper level of chlorine. See? The water turns pink, and the colorimeter, which measures the amount of chlorine, tells the operator that it's just right. So now that we've treated the water and tested that it's ready to drink, we're done, right? Not quite. We still have to do something with all the dirt and debris we've removed from the water earlier. Remember the sludge ponds? This is where everything we don't want in our water ends up. It sits here until all the dirt separates from the water. The water is then skimmed off and sent back to the plant to be cleaned again. The muddy stuff that remains is dug up and hauled off to a landfill. And that, my friends, is how we take untreated water and transform it into delicious drinking water. It's actually pretty simple, isn't it? Okay, it's time for your Water Ranger exams. Together, we're going to recap what we just learned. Imported water from the Sacramento-San Joaquin Delta travels along the California Aqueduct to Silverwood Lake, and then to our treatment plant here. We then mix in chemicals to attract the dirt. Flocculation occurs as the dirt clumps together. When the dirt sinks to the bottom of the sedimentation basins, it gets raked up and sent to sludge ponds. After that, the water's filtered. Then we add chlorine to kill any living organisms. And finally, we test the water and send it to your homes. Now you know everything that goes into making your water clean and healthy. As Water Rangers, you need to let people know why it's important that we all do our part to conserve this precious resource and not to waste it. You see, most of the water on the Earth is in the oceans. That's salt water and we can't drink it. Only 1% of the Earth's water is the kind of fresh water in rivers and lakes that we treat here and send to your homes. That's why water is such a precious resource that we have to use carefully. So here are a few tips you can use to save water every day. Turning off the faucet while brushing your teeth will save 5 gallons of water. Taking shorter showers can save up to 12 gallons of water each time. And always use a broom to clean your driveways and sidewalks instead of a hose. Your guidebook has lots of other easy ways to save too, so be sure to read it and start saving water today. So now I think you're ready to become official Water Rangers. If you're up to the challenge, let your tour guide know, and you'll be deputized as honorary Water Rangers. Together, we can make sure there's always enough drinking water for everyone.